Hi you guys. I'm really excited for this video because it's one that has been in my mind for like literally several months, if not like nearly a year. Literally, it's been that long. And basically, I wanted to talk about some creators that maybe talk about more niche topics that aren't exactly like other creators that you will find all the time. Because I think that you can find a plethora of like booktubers, of vloggers, of travel vloggers, like in the Spanish world, but I wanted to give light to some channels that have topics that maybe are a little bit more niche. I think it's really important to, especially as I've tried to advance in Spanish, I feel like it's really important to open up, what you're listening to. I think it's really easy to fall into just listening to the same thing or watching the same things because we all have our own interest, which is natural. But I do think it's important here and there to like kind of watch things that are outside of your own interest, just to continue helping with building vocabulary, building your knowledge in the language, and maybe things that you're not as interested in, or maybe that you just don't really know about. So yeah, that being said, I have a few creators that I like to share with y'all. Now, this video is really recommended for intermediate to advanced learners because all of my recommendations today do happen to be native channels. Now, all because they're native channels doesn't exactly mean that they're going to be extremely hard to understand, because some of them will speak a lot more clear. But yeah, I will highlight that as we get into it. So yeah. All right, you guys. So starting with the very first person, I think that she's maybe the most easy to understand, would be Hana Koreana. I really, really like her videos. She does do vlogging videos, but I feel like what sets her apart is that if you're really into Korean culture, she brings you to Korea and gives like a very, I don't know, it's very Korean. I don't know if like you're on the Korean side of YouTube, if you really like that type of stuff, I would really recommend her channel. She's actually Korean Peruvian. So she does most of her videos in Spanish, but she does have some videos in Korean with Spanish subtitles. I don't know, I just really like her videos because it's fun to like be in the world of Korea, but at the same time, get to like listen to it in Spanish, I guess. She does like a lot of videos that are lifestyle based, and she does a lot of videos about like her content creation. She has her own brand in Peru for K-beauty. So she does a lot of videos about that. And I do think it's a good way, if you're interested in Korean culture, to still kind of learn about it, but learn about it through Spanish. I don't know. I just really enjoy her videos. They're very well made. And so yeah, she's also extremely easy to understand in my opinion. So I would say if you're on the higher end of intermediate or even like middle intermediate, you might be able to really get a lot out of her videos. Now, the next creator that I want to mention, I've honestly mentioned her so many times in my videos, I think, because I am a big fan. I want to mention Paula Suru. I love her videos so bad. She does vlogging, but it's like cozy vibes. And I just haven't found anybody who like really... Hi, you guys. I'm editing right now and it's a mess. But I saw that a clip got totally taken out right here, so I just want to fill in what I was trying to get at. And so basically, I was saying, yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of vloggers that I've seen who really have achieved such a nice and cozy like style. And like she doesn't even do gaming, but like she kind of gives me like cozy like gaming vibes. Like I don't know, maybe it's because she uses a lot of like Animal Crossing music in her background. But I don't know, I just really, I don't know. The vibes are just immaculate. On top of that, she's also Chilean, which, you know, I think there is a lot of feelings around Chilean Spanish that it's too hard to understand. But I think that she has a very typical everyday Chilean accent, and she's not very hard to understand. So, so I think it is also a good way to kind of open up your world to Chilean Spanish, while also kind of like seeing the different things that she does, where it's like she likes collecting, she does do some book videos, she does like artistic videos. So it's actually really cool. Very, very cozy. I love her videos so bad, y'all. Like, I love them. I've been a fan for a while now, so I would really recommend her channel. All right, you guys. So the next creator I have to recommend is actually a podcast. So not on YouTube, I don't think, but the podcast is called Gaiki Podcast. The creator is from Argentina, and I really, really like this podcast because he basically takes creativity and mixes it with spirituality, and it's very interesting. And I feel like it's very niche because I don't know a lot of creators who do that. I love his podcast a lot. Now I will say he's probably on the upper end of intermediate going into advanced. So yeah, anyways, his podcast is very well made and it's just so interesting because he really talks about being a creative person, but how your inner self, like how your inner world is really reflected in your art and how the two go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like being a creative person has so much to do about what's going on within you, and it reflects in your art. And I don't know, I just think he does a really good job at explaining everything. His topics are always so interesting. Like every new episode, I'm always listening to it because I'm just like, oh, interesting. I don't know, I really enjoy it. So I would recommend his podcast. Now, the next creator that I want to recommend, and I would say we're definitely in advanced territory now, 100%. This creator is very niche. I love this creator so much, especially because she brings my two favorite worlds together, Chile and Argentina. Literally love, love, love. So this creator, her name is Argentina Arquitecta, and essentially she's a Chilean architect who specializes in Argentinian architecture. So it's actually very, very interesting. It's very, very niche in that way. She has tons of videos talking about Argentinian architecture, talking about Argentinian culture. It's definitely a good way to learn more vocabulary more than anything. So I would really recommend that channel. Moving right along, the next channel I would recommend to you is Lourdes de Fraites. Now, this channel is all about ballet. She's from Venezuela, and y'all don't understand how happy I was whenever I found this channel, because it's like, because she teaches us all about like ballet history. She literally will talk about different performances and talk about the history of those performances, like Swan Lake and the Nutcracker. And she is a ballerina herself, so she'll do some vlogs showing her life as a professional ballerina slash ballet teacher. I'm pretty sure she also teaches ballet. And even if you aren't a ballet girly, I still think it's so interesting the things that she talks about. You can really learn a lot from her. But I will say in a lot of her videos, she does embed the subtitles. So if that's something that bothers you, maybe not the best channel for you. But I will say totally worth it because her topics are just so interesting and different. So yeah, I would really recommend her channel. We are really getting close to the end here. I have two more recommendations for you. So the next recommendation is definitely very niche. This channel is called Poppy, and she basically just does like witchy types of videos. So maybe not for everybody, but if you like that type of content or you're interested in it, I just think it's interesting. She talks about like a lot of like folklore and like metaphysical things. So if that's your thing, I would really recommend her. It's very interesting. It's definitely a way to get niche vocabulary, 1000%. So yeah, she is from Argentina, and I'd recommend her channel. And last but not least, I would recommend the podcast En Teoria. I really like this podcast in specific. It is a video podcast, but you could just listen to it if you want to. It has two girls from Argentina who talk about science, but they do it in such an interesting way. I really do. I would recommend the video podcast more because they do use like a lot of like videos and pictures and stuff to really like hone in on the ideas. But I just love this podcast so bad because I think science is so interesting whenever they kind of tie in like pop culture and they make it digestible. I think that's number one, because I just don't have a science brain. I don't. But I love learning facts. I love learning about new things, and I love it when somebody else tells it to me in a way that I can digest it. And they definitely do that on this podcast. I think they make science really fun and interesting. Not that science isn't, but you know what I mean. Hopefully. So yeah, I would really recommend this podcast because it is based on, it's a science podcast. And I think that is very niche. I think it's important to be able to understand these types of things, especially as learners. Because it's like, we didn't get to go through school in Spanish. So it's like, we didn't get to take history class. We didn't get to take science class. So there could be a lot of vocabulary that we're missing if we're just studying at home. And that goes for all of these, honestly. So yeah, that is the end of my video. I hope that you can find at least one new channel that you really like and that will help you really amplify your vocabulary. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.